And we're live. Now I'm going to cough.
I know, right? I know, and I'm going to pull out Gypsy real quick.
Okay.
Oh, God. Is that my phone going off? Jesus. I thought I turned it off.
For one time, I have mine not up here, except for the house phone.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
my God. It's been such a long day. Oh my gosh. And hot day. It's like, what? 80 gazillion degrees today.
Yeah,
Hi, Kate.
I just took a shower. Hello, Katie.
Just
Kate.
crazy. Oh yeah. We do have to talk about somebody didn't get to, there goes an orb.
There's an orb.
It's the second one I've seen. One before anybody was on, I was sitting there and I went to this side over here. But I do have my light going. It's going to change. It should be changing different colors. So
nice.
My son goes, "You want some more of those light bulbs?" I said, "I'm good. I've got two. I don't need
Oh,
more."
nice. Yeah. Heck yeah. Tell him, yeah.
So I put a little thing on there for the trolls. Trolls will be banished under the bridge.
Nice. I know, right? I love it. I love it.
Nice way to say.
I'm so sick of, I'm like.
I spent a lot of time sitting and looking up anybody with the same name that spammed, and I just banned them all. And
right.
Then I get today, after I did that all yesterday, that there were new people going in a day after our shows and 3 days after our shows trying to get a hold of people. This is crazy. Hi, Chloe.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
So sorry, I did invite somebody on the show and they didn't respond because I wanted to talk about witches and all of that because it's so popular. It's crazy popular now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I took my witch calendar and I didn't even look at it yet. I took it. We went to go drive around yesterday. I took it so I could, and I ended up driving. So, I don't drive and read at the same time.
Did you see that full moon? Oh my gosh.
It was beautiful. We were up in the mountains. We were up on Palomar Mountain.
Oh, I love it up there.
Like you
I love that. Hi, Wendy. Hey, Wendy, this is for you. So, so anyway, now that Zoe's on Wednesdays, I was so into somebody that's posting as Psychicfixes says, "Hi, Kate." Is that, I don't know who posted as Psychicfixes. Wasn't me. Switch yourself over to the true self, your true name, so we know who's there. So anyway, so you're lighting your Palo Santo and all that?
I'm trying, and you know what? It won't light.
Mine never lights. I was, well, I keep it outside, so that might be moisture for me. But I love Palo Santo. And can you get like Palo Santo essential oil?
You know what? They had some. We went to the Lady of the Lake. It's a store that's in Temecula.
Oh, yeah. I do know them, and they know me. They came all the way down to some of my meetups, but I haven't seen them for a few years. They might not work there anymore.
Oh, I'm telling you. Okay, let me tell you the story. Let's talk witchcraft. Let's talk.
Okay.
So Keith and I, we go to the store, right? We go to the store. We've been there before, and every time I go in there, you know me, I'm extremely, very, very sensitive. So when I tell Keith all the time, whenever we go into a store, don't touch anything.
It's like a little kid. Don't touch anything.
Well, yes, I said, don't touch anything. And I tell him, I said, you know what? Just walk behind me or walk beside me. You don't, whatever. And I always look at the crowd. I always look at the crowd who's in there. Well, guess what? We went in there, and I always get this high anxiety feeling of like, I need protection. I need protection every time I go into the store. There's many, and I'm not saying it's a bad store. I'm just saying there's many different people that go into that kind of spiritual store that have intentions, and there's others that are there to wreak havoc. It is what it is. I mean, you can go in any store. It doesn't necessarily need to be one of those. There are just some people that just have that energy, whatever. So Keith and I go to the store the other day, and I was just kind of like looking at this stuff. And I'm looking around. Okay, first of all, we walk in the store. To my immediate right, there's these 3 young girls. There's one that I see, and she's staring at me, and I can sense her staring. And she's just looking at me and Keith, and she's standing there and she's looking. Well, what she's doing is she's looking at everybody that's going in there, and she's trying to bazinga these people. And she's trying to screw with their energy. And this
okay. I'm like, what's bazinga?
Yeah. she's trying to screw with people. And one of those little whatever, just thinking whatever she's doing. Okay, so I see what she's doing, right? And right away Nana stands up and she's just like, oh no, she's not. Right away my grandmother gets really pissed. So I stand there and I tell Keith, I'm like, did you see those little girls when we walked in the store? And he says, well, yeah. He goes, yeah, the one with the, I don't know, I guess crop tops are coming back, whatever. I don't know.
Oh Lord.
So, yeah, he's all that crop top girl. And I was just kind of like, yes. And then the other girls, well, there was a little, heavier set, chubby girl that was there with them too. I'm like, she's the strong one. And the crop top is the troublemaker, and they're just using her. I mean, it was the whole dynamics of the story, whatever. Okay. So what this girl was doing was she was going through the store. I saw her before. She was going through the store, and Nana was telling me she's going in there, she's touching things, and she's just like doing things to, or attempting to. She's seeing what she could do. The best way to describe it is like she's picking up a stone and she's being like vomiting. Or going to another one, or like whatever she's doing, just bad stuff, like a little, right. like a little troll, right? So my grandmother just kind of like, I just keep walking in the store because she kind of looked at us, and then the 3 of them, after what I gave them, when I looked at them, and I'm just like, and then my grandmother got mad. They must have seen something. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden the 3 of them just start going like this out the door.
Nana got after them.
It's not a bad. It's not. Yeah, it's just one of those things that you don't do that. So the 3 of them just kind of go like this way, and then we just walk through the store. Just what? Yeah, she was leaving bad intentions on certain items, and people were shopping. Yeah, people were like, "Whoa, this is nice," and they have beautiful stuff in that store. Holy crap. Everything that I go into the store, I do a sweep through whenever I go in the store, because I'm like, I want everybody to be able to enjoy their shopping, right? There's certain things like the stones, like people go in there and you're just like the stone that calls to them. So I was just clearing that energy, you know what I mean? Just kind of clearing that riffraff stuff out of there. I know they're kids, but they have no idea what the hell they're doing. And this comes to, and Debbie, you know these things. You just know these things, and the thing about it is that these youngsters get involved and they start, oh my God, this is so cool. No, it's not, because
they end up with the attachments, and they so many bad things.
And you know what? That's what I told Keith. I go, you know what? They watch The Freaking Craft one too many times, and that's exactly what it reminded me of. Yeah. That's exactly, and see, this is the thing too. It's like, how can somebody purchase something they really need? I always feel that way. It's like, you know what if somebody comes in and to me, when you're clearing stones, when you walk into a place and you see such lovely things, and you're like, you know what, let me just say a prayer. Let these stones find the right person at the right time, and whoever needs them, let me help to clear that. That's non-interference. That's just embracing and helping them to, for them to find each other, that kind of thing. Whoever seeks out that knowledge or that need, that whatever it may be. And see, that's something I don't screw with. And they were standing right there as we were exiting. Where they were standing, it was right by the freaking Ouija board. They have an old school Ouija board in the case. That was right behind them. And Keith, as we were leaving, they were already gone. As Keith and I think Nana seriously scared them off. I was just kind of like, I don't like going in that store, Keith. It's not that I feel tired. I just feel this red flag right away. because some people that go in there and they have, whatever their intentions may be, but
oh yeah, your psychic alarm.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a beautiful store. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing the store any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, in any store you go to, somebody can do anything to anybody or any object that they choose to. It doesn't need to be a spiritual store. It's a very lovely store that we go to. They have the evil eye stuff. All that stuff is super cool. All that stuff they have in there. Beautiful statues, beautiful stuff. It's just sometimes the people that go into these places that are meant for healing or, for magic.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can feel different stuff when you go in and people have done stuff.
Absolutely.
San Juan Capistrano, have you been up to the mission?
In Oceanside? Or no?
Well, no, it's like by Dana Point. It's in
No.
San Juan Capistrano.
No,
They
I have
you go into the chapel that's so old, but there's an inner room. And when you go in, you will get hit with this healing and all of this love, because people have actually like written everywhere and in this book and everything, it was for cancer patients. And it's all the prayers and everything just for that. It's really amazing. But when getting back to the bad stuff, it's like you need to have if we owned a store, we would probably offer clearings for people's possessions. Like we have a place
Absolutely.
that we can clear it. We
Absolutely.
could have a big giant thing of salt. We can do all kinds of stuff with it. And the white energy and all of that. But like a sign like you cannot shoplift and don't keep the bad energy out of the stones, out of the rocks.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
this is the thing you're going to get everywhere, especially if you go to thrift stores. We know, and practitioners know, that are educated and experienced in this stuff, that we need to be careful of what we pick, and do we want to bring it in the house yet, or what we want to do with it. We want to clear that energy, unless it seems like if we can communicate that there's a good thing in it, good energy or something like that, then you're not going to banish that out. But the younger people, because of all the media, the movies and everything, like you said, the craft and all of that, they're so interested. And there's with all the TV shows and everything, Sabrina and all that, you've got this big push to it's cool to be a witch. It's and witchy and all of that stuff. But again, just like paranormal investigating or people that step into the metaphysical practitioner role and all of that, they're stepping into things that they need to be mentored in, or they really need to educate themselves on how to do this. And I don't know how many, you could probably find some stuff online, but to be mentored directly by a person that tells you how to do this stuff is so important.
Oh,
Hey,
absolutely.
Trey.
Hello, Trey.
Emily, can you sing? Oh, well, we're not doing readings right now, Trey. But anyway, going back to that. So it's just one of those things to be cool and to be, and they do a lot of stuff that's so bad, and bad magic, especially when they think it's really cool to harm something or to cast a spell, to curse, things like that. And they just don't know what, what that is. Trey, if we get time, we'll look into it at the end. Otherwise, we have a show that's just looking at that stuff and doing free readings and everything tomorrow at 6:30 Pacific. So, I was hoping, I asked Kristen to come in and be with us because, of course, everybody dabbles. And I was mentored, though. I didn't ask to be. Someone came to me and said, you need to be mentored in this. And they were right. And so from there, when they said there's nothing more I can do for you as far as this goes, then, but actually they sent me something else that I'm learning. And then I went on doing the things myself, but with the knowledge of how to clear things, how to be good with the energy and do no harm, And of course, you guys, I do know people that do black magic and stuff like that. And there's like sometimes you have to, I teach defensive magic, not offensive. And so when people are doing that, that's on them and their free will. But if you need to deflect or you need to defend, you can. But they are choosing that path. And do I want them to absolutely, not do that and go in a different way? Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So how do I find a mentor? Well, Chloe, they found me. So
Yeah.
this is what you can do. And that is to, if you want to find out about covens, if you want to find a mentor and stuff, then you might go into something that isn't real heavy duty. And let's say the people say that they're into white magic and this, that, and the other. You might start there and take a class or something. You have to be really careful because you don't want to get sucked into something that you find out that they're not in good magic, type of thing. So be really discriminating.
Yeah.
Maybe find a light class. Like I teach, I have a big meetup group in Southern California, and we'll teach magic candles. We'll teach little spells. We'll do kitchen witchery.
Yeah.
So just kind of get into it and see if this is what you want to do. And then talk to the higher power. Bring someone in. If I meant to do this,
Absolutely.
then bring the right mentor into me. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing is that, see, some people, when you're able to find, this is the thing. When you're on your journey and you're learning, when you're eager to learn and you're asking the universe, you know what? Bring me somebody. Just like Debbie said, bring me somebody. When you start aligning with yourself, rule number 1, you start aligning with yourself and you start speaking your truth, meaning everything that you do with unconditional love for yourself and for everybody else. You start understanding to take responsibility for everything that you've done. I mean, you're just going through the dark night of the soul, whatever. People go through, they learn their lessons, they do this, they do that. And when your tribe starts to find you, you find your people, you find the people, they find you or you find them. All of a sudden, you start attracting these people that you would never know. That's how I met Debbie. That's how Debbie and I, we've been in this for over, close to a year, if not over, somewhere in that neck of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
We found each other through a mutual friend who is like on her own journey. And like I said on that one show, that one Saturday, some people are meant to be in our lives for only a season. And for whatever reason, it brings us to another chapter in our lives. Now we're still friends. Like Ruby, Ruby introduced me to Debbie, and then Debbie and I just clicked. Boom, clicked. And Ruby, went out and did her own thing, and she still does. She does her phenomenal work with what is Ruby doing? Her paranormal. She was just at the Cecil Hotel. She's traveling, doing her thing. Beautiful stuff, because that's her gig. That's her paranormal. Mm-hmm. That's what she loves to do. Just as Debbie's
but also, yes. The thing is if you get into anything, be it witchcraft or anything, and things don't go right, little things like you forget that you're supposed to go somewhere, or something doesn't work out, or there's blocks in the way, that means no. Yeah. That means don't do that. Go find something else to do. I'm sorry, Carla, go ahead.
No. But that's absolutely, because there's just certain things where she invited. I was on Ruby's show first, right? And then you invited me to be on the show, and here we are. And this is and Debbie has been my mentor because I do shows here. She gave me the opportunity, and I've been able to not grow into my shoes because I continue to grow, but it's something where I was given this opportunity. Now, if I would not have stepped out of my comfort zone and did that show with Ruby that one day, right, I'd still be like, well, you know. So there are opportunities that will present themselves, Chloe, and that's the thing that really opens you up, and it helps you to find those people that are going to help you along your journey. Now, whether they stay for a season or they stay for a lifetime, that depends on what their purpose is on your life journey. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's plenty of people come in, and I notice, you know, they're apprehensive of being on a show, nonetheless doing a show, and then they come and do it, and it's so easy, I think, because we're so laid back and ourselves, you know, genuine, and then they go off to Vista, baby Debbie. We're off to something else, which is the way it should be. And that's good, because we need to have as many good metaphysical practitioners out there as we can. Kimmy was saying that she was around someone that she knew was doing dark magic, and you get that vibe. For me, it's that in the abdomen, you know, we get that psychic alarm, something's wrong. We all have that. For as long as I can remember, probably the 1960s, people would say, oh, that gives me bad vibes, or that was bad vibes in here. So that's really, and it's funny how maybe now people think vibes is a new, or bitchin' is a new word, or whatever it is. Well, those words are old. And I thought, when I was a teen, was something we made up when I found out my father was saying it a long time ago. So, but the fact, but the fact is that you get, if you have a psychic alarm, you've got to go with that vibe and get away. If anybody taken self-defense classes, I have, and then what you're supposed to do is get away. And especially if you aren't strong in the power and can deflect and get rid of stuff, you know, and put up that barrier and do all these things, then the best thing is just to leave their area, you know, because the people have different strengths and different powers, and you know, their practice and who knows what they're into. So if anything gets, especially if you get into a situation, you go somewhere, you need to get away, because we don't know if there's a bad person there that isn't witchcraft or anything, but a bad person. So we want to make sure that we're using those senses that we have. And so it's good to, the biggest thing I think, Carla, is for people to recognize when they've got something bad going on, to recognize that that is a psychic alarm, to be alert and get out. And so that is something to practice. You get a bad vibe, don't stick around. But if you stick around, you find out something happened, learn from that. So, you know, definitely had people come to my house and knew something was wrong. And, you know, and I took care of it because I knew how to do it. And psychically, and it's funny how those psychic things come, because I knew the people immediately after I saw the top of their heads. Some of you know that story. I was told exactly who they were and why they were there. And so I ran to the door and I flew it open, put my hand out and said, "You're not coming in here. You do not want to be here." And so, of course, they went at the end. The guy goes, "Well, how did you know?" You know, and then I thought, well, what part of psychic do you understand? But then I said, "Oh, it's what you were carrying in your hand." Don't know what he had, but this will serve you well, especially when if you're going to go into the path of Wiccan, or witchcraft, something like that, be a witch. Then, you know, get into a nice group that's not going to do anything crazy. Now, some of you guys can go and check out Zoe on Wednesday, but Zoe was very honest in saying that she's also kind of into the vampire stuff, and that she has a friend who is a vampire and she has to feed. So I don't know what that means. So you have to be careful. Does that give you a bad vibe, or does that make you go, "Oh, I'm interested in knowing what their story is"? So you have to go with how you feel, that's going to go. The nice thing about Zoe's class is virtual. And it's free on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock Pacific time on Psychicfixes. But you can have that choice to go, well, this isn't for me, or I'm going to embrace this and go with that. But when you have let me tell you, I had a psychic moment that was funny. If you guys want a little joke. So last night I'm sitting down, I'm on my phone. As I never thought I'd be one of these people, but I was on my phone, wasn't paying attention, but there's a full moon, and my son had gotten a telescope for Christmas, and he leaves it over at my house, so he happened to come over. So I asked my husband, can you go set it up, and then I'll be ready, because my son was eating. So he goes, sets it up. I can't see anything. I can't see nothing. And I'm like, okay. And he's like doing the knobs and he says, I don't know. It's just not working. And I like, great. Because I remember having a telescope a long time ago. You couldn't see anything out of it. So, but I'm not paying attention. I'm doing this, but I can hear him. And so then my son gets up and he says, you go try. So he goes over there and he's like, oh, I think I see lights. But the spotter scope shows the moon and everything. And so finally I just stopped doing this and I went like this, and a story came in my head. And the story was, there was a father and a son, and they were trying to use a telescope, and I had to laugh because the lens cap was on. And I was given the story, and then I just put the phone down and I go, is the lens cap on? And they, yes. You can't see anything because you can't. There's a lens cap on it. So your intuition, you guys, everybody develop it, and we can talk about that on any time about that, because it's like crazy. But it is, sometimes it could be funny. It's very helpful. When my son was young, my other son, the young one, he had contraband. So he'd go to school and I'd go stand at the doorway and I would just say, show me. And then I would walk. And he had the biggest bedroom in the house, by the way. I don't know how that happened. But I would just walk to it. I would go to the closet. I would move something, put my hand back, pick out some little thing, open up, there it is. So, and then, I get to throw it away because he can't come and tell me it's missing. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do. Wendy's talking about, let's look at this one, Kimmy. As soon as I said my prayers against her, within 5 minutes, she had to lay down for a while. She went into the house and never came out until they were leaving. Well, then you had some power to you say prayers against her. So prayers against the darkness. Absolutely. And you will see that because you can, if you learn how to do this stuff and with the energy and everything, working with the angels, right? And your guides and everything, you'll see an instant change. An instant, they will leave. They will get sick. They'll leave. They're whatever. You have to see what they'll get a mild headache. Then you'll get to gauge how much power and energy that you got to use with that. But let's see what Wendy has to say. I learned about vampires from WitchCon. They talked about ethical feeding. It was very interesting conversation. Wow. This is something I'm not interested in.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before. I mean, I've seen where kids think they're vampires or whatever, like, I don't know, maybe.
Well, isn't it whatever. The cosplay?
Really,
we have costumes. So we have costumes. We have cosplay. We have people, especially you guys, you have to be careful because really the younger you are, the more you can get into that lifestyle. And, and with the people. And I think if people are really using blood, cutting and using blood, then we've got a problem. Because that to me is an unhealthy thing. Absolutely. I mean, you guys might have different things, but that I really feel that isn't a thing. Because you guys, You might want to be a vampire, and you might say you're a vampire. We do have psychic vampires, but there is no real Dracula, so to speak. So if you're going to go cut somebody and drink their blood, you're just doing something I don't think you should do.
AIDS.
There's too many reasons. We have to be scientists. We have to be steeped in some reality.
Yeah.
You know.
So let me tell you the story. Let me tell you the story. When I first started doing, everybody get some cocoa and a warm blanket. I'm kidding. It's Santa Ana's so, when I first started, right? When I first started doing this, what I was doing, and before we met, you know, this kind of thing, whatever. Anyways, early in my journey, a few years ago, there was this one girl that came to me, and this is when I started getting into the helping the the MMIW, the Murder and Missing Indigenous, and I was helping from home, helping people, you know, over different areas, right? So this one girl who was in charge of this, she's a college student, Native American, and she is stories about, you know, Bigfoot and the different ones that you see, just different, you know, Native history stories, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So she comes to me and she says, you know, I have this guy, he has questions and there's something going on. She's like, and I just want you if you can look. Long story short, I'm like, this guy is screwing around with this other lady, right? And what happened is there was a box. There was a box inside the house. And I told her, I said, the problem is that there's this woman got some of his things and her things, and it involved like her urine and different things, like stuff. And she put it in a box, in a shoebox, and she put it in his freaking closet. And he didn't know it was there. So I see all these things in this box, and I see this thing just kind of like the box would tick. It would move every so often. I don't know where these people lived. I've never met them before in my life. I've never, nothing, right? I tell the girl, I said, tell this guy he needs to go into his closet and he needs to look for this shoebox. It's like a shoebox. He went into his closet. There's a freaking box in there. And I'm like, don't open it. Just burn it.
Yeah.
Burn it. Dig a hole. Freaking burn it. So he said, like a couple of days later, she writes me and she's like, holy shiitake mushroom. She's like, you know, blah, 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 we're talking. And she's just like, he was freaking out. He's like, you know, and I'm like, I don't know him. No, I don't know her. I did not have, you know what I mean? It was like, he was freaking out. He's like, how did she see inside my house? That's when I knew. That's when I knew you're doing the fly on the wall, right? You're doing the out of body.
I love remote viewing.
Remote view. That's yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's always cool.
That's when I really started. That's when I really started getting into what I was doing. I'm like, there was a box? Really? It wasn't there, but it was just the weirdest thing. It was the weirdest thing. So there are people who do those. There's people that do those things to other people.
Of course. Of course. Oh yes.
But it was
people are into that black magic stuff. Yeah. Kimmy says you're lagging a little bit, but a little bit. You catch up. You catch up.
Okay.
Wendy says that they took in energy, so they're the good ones because you know, I have known covens that cut and bleed. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
But psychic vampires, you do want, you know, we need to teach deflection. And so when when I don't have a lot of time, I just give everybody, Protected Magic, my book called Protected Magic. But the biggest thing that you can do that totally works, because my girlfriend had the black magic going up in the ceiling with the person that lived up there. I said, well, she's going to move. And I'm saying, where's your bubble? So, you guys all know, put a bubble around you, as strong as material as you can use in your mind's eye, that's your bubble, and you keep everybody out. So if you want to deflect, you bump it out.
Yeah.
Bump it out.
Absolutely.
And so she says, well, it's just lines, it lines like up this way and that way and this way. And I said, okay, that's okay. But we know if we're going to do something defensive and we want to keep a bubble, a sphere around our house, it has to go above the house, it has to go under the house. Yeah. All the way around. So I said, okay, you can take that square that you have, that's your little sphere, not square, of energy. And I said, I want you to bump it up into the ceiling, up where she's walking. So you take your positive energy, your white light, your positive energy. I want you to bump it up into the ceiling. So she did. And that lady, after 2 weeks, she was gone. She put in her, she left. Yeah. And so my friend didn't have to leave, but she said that she was pissed off because you could hear her walking really heavy footed, up there, getting really, as much as she'd push up that good, the lady would get mad and stamp. And I said, because you're putting, it's just like when you guys deal with the spirit, you might think that I banished that spirit, but you haven't most of the time. It can come back. And so you have to keep at it. And so if you know what you're doing, you can get some things out, spirits and stuff. But sometimes if it's stronger, especially practicing the dark magic and all of that, and knows how to do a lot of stuff, you can't just do it the first time. So you have to keep at it and keep at it. And so sometimes when you do your warfare prayer and you get the spirit out, they come back pissed off. They may have gone into a corner of a closet or something. They're going to get mean. They're going to get mad. And this happens a lot. So I tell people they may come back and it may get worse before it gets better, but you keep on doing that. And of course, to clear things is, a lot more than just sometimes saying something and putting white light or whatever. It may include the burning of the sage or the holy water or saying prayers in every room and all of that. But the warfare prayer, if you guys don't know, Samantha E. Harris is a demonologist. She wrote a book, and you can find her online and put Samantha E. Harris Warfare, WARFARE prayer. And this is what she used to get demons out of the house. So you can use it all purpose, you guys. And there's a certain way that you do it. And she's got the instructions. And I give it out to people. And so she freely has it online for you guys. But yeah, if you have to be careful. If you aren't strong enough or you don't do enough or you get every corner, you have them just come out of the closet and be really a pain in the butt. And you guys know not to be scared. Please, when you have something, they feed on that. They feed on you being scared in whatever's going on. The fear, they've got it. Makes them stronger, bigger. Really, you guys, the small darkness I call, there's Scrabblies and I call them Gumbies. They get a little bit more humanoid and they're dark. They can get stronger by adding more grief and more of that energy up. And they can be the ones that scratch and bite you. You'll see that in some of the paranormal investigations on TV. And so you can't be scared. And this is what gets me. We talked about this before, that these guys, they're doing the show and all of a sudden they get a little scratch and they're like,
They start running, acting stupid.
And you're like, no.
Yeah, that's why you're there, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And then go ahead.
No, I'd say I would probably be like, holy, me. I'd be the mouth of a sailor, but I still wouldn't be scared.
Oh,
I wouldn't be scared. I'd be like, well, okay, now we need to handle this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
yes. Because like when I'm out with people and something happens or we see the black inky thing and the thing in the bushes and stuff, I go after it because I know what to do. and I'm packing my scrambly juice, which you guys is any kind of a salt. Please, I'll get these holier than thou practitioners that say it has to be Himalayan. There's a difference in salt. I have a salt video that's got like 65,000 views on YouTube. And I get a couple of people to go, salt is not just salt. I said, eat it, then tell me. But I go salt is salt in metaphysical practitioner, things. And so any kind of salt, put that in there. And I like to chop up white sage, chop it up, break it up into little pieces and put it in there and get wild rue seeds. This is like sage, but it's Persian. It's very revered for, a lot of them, they don't have sage. They get wild rue seed and you can get it. And then first I want you to sniff it like you're doing a drug because it's not going to do anything to you, but it smells like chocolate.
Oh, nice.
It smells so good. So I put some of that in there and then I just kind of shake it up. But any of the protection herbs and stuff in Scott Cunningham's book, Incense, Oils, and Brews, go to the back and look up protection and all those things. And then you can get, you guys know, you can go to a craft store that starts with an M, and you can get these little tiny bottles of chipped up rocks. So you can get obsidian. You don't get tourmaline, but you get obsidian. And you can sprinkle just a few of those rocks in there, because that's very protective. When you think of the black rocks, a lot of them come with protection. And so go ahead and any of the things in there that's used, you can use rosemary. You can even use lavender, rose stems with the thorns. You could rose thorns, whatever you want, and shake it up. Now, the one thing you want to do is not throw the mixture with the salt anywhere that would be a yard that has pets, or pets would be walked, or anything like that. We're going to use holy water instead, or wild rue, or something like that. But we don't want to hurt kidneys of animals. And so anyway, I keep that because I'm in a cemetery. The most that's going to be running around is a squirrel or a rat or something. I don't know. And it doesn't take much. But I'm the one that comes in with the holy water, rose water. You guys can get rose water, and it smells so good. Put it down your drain. It smells good. Especially too, if you were warding your house, you could take rose water and put it down every drain in the house, little squirt. Roses are very protective. So, and a lot of people, the healers, use it to put on their hands before they start healing. A few people do that. So lots of, and it smells so good too. It's like aromatherapy for you and for whoever you're laying hands on or doing energy work with. But, and so Chloe says, teach the girls.
Oh, yeah, right. Teach them girls.
So, but anyway, make your little scrabbly juice and go get that book. If you guys are going to spend any money on anything, you want to get into the pagan or Wiccan or witch stuff, or you just want to do your own thing, get Incense, Oils, and Brews by Scott Cunningham. He was a Wiccan, and he has wonderful books, but that's the number one because it gives you all the information in the back. So if you wanted to do a spell for money, there you go. Go look under wealth. If you want to do it for love, do it. Put that out. I gave one person, he had broke up with his girlfriend and they were going to get married and everything, and he was beside himself. And he came over and I said, you have somebody coming in, of course. And I said, I'm going to give you this rose quartz. And so he kept it in his pocket. And that week he met someone who's now going to get married to. So,
Oh, so sweet.
So, okay, you got rose water in Aldi's? Are you kidding? I just picked up an order a couple hours ago.
I was just going to say.
I'm going to put it on my list. I keep it. I have willow. International markets, you guys, when you get that book and you look up, the properties, or go put metaphysical properties of willow water. anything. They have all kinds of orange blossom. They have all kinds of waters. And I just bought, I saw a orb. I just bought anise water. And is it for a spell? No. It's like I totally want it in my aromatherapy thing behind me,
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. Matter of fact, prior to going live, I was eating black jelly beans, which I love.
Oh
And
my gosh.
it's just like anise. It's just like licorice. It's so good.
Yeah.
So the one thing that you guys can do, when going back to going anywhere where you have something in it, you have to remember too, spirits can be attached. We're not just saying somebody's dark energy of vomit or whatever those girls were doing. There
Yeah.
actually can be a spirit that is attracted to it and decided to stick to it. A lot of times the spirits will go, I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm at or anything. Oh, Fan. Hello, Fan. You're
Yeah.
my friend now. Or a person or a place. And then, and some are wandering. They come in and out. So I have this little, it looks like it was from a museum. The little Eskimo guy. There goes another orb.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you got
And
orbs. Orb Central.
yeah, always. It's funny. And
Orb
so this
Central.
little Eskimo guy, and he's carved, and he's a black stone. It's real stone, and he has numbers underneath him and everything. So it kind of looks like maybe it was somewhere important. And so, but when I'm in the thrift store, my friend picks it up, and she's over in the corner holding it, and because I was saying I really like, what do you think of this? And she's talking to the guy. And he goes, he would love for you to take him home. He'd love to live at your house. So I'm like, sold. I'm going,
Uh-huh.
coming home with me. So I talk to him
Uh-huh.
every once in a while when I'm with the antique room.
Uh-huh. You know,
Doesn't everybody have an antique room? Oh my
that's
gosh.
funny that Keith and I had gone to the Indian store that's over here in Oceanside in that area. And I don't know if I ever told you, but every time we go into the store there, it was Christmas time. We had gone this one time, and they had old Native American dolls, just all the tree decorated with Native American ornaments, all these different things. But they had these dolls that really beautiful dresses, beadwork on them, just really beautiful. This one specific doll had a blue dress. She had a black hair, very lovely. And when I walked in there, I was like, I looked to the left, and there's the tree. I'm like, oh, how lovely. And, I just kept going, and I kept hearing, like, and I was like, oh, it was really weird. So I go back to the tree, and I'm like, what is the deal? I'm looking around. I'm kind of looking. All of a sudden, a woven plate, like around this big, woven plate, is tossed out of the tree right at me.
Oh my gosh.
And I stop and I look around, and I'm all, okay. And I go and I grab it, and I go to put it back in the tree to set it. I'm like, I hope nobody thinks I'm, I'm like, I was like, whoa, okay. I was hoping people didn't think I was like dismantling the tree, right? So I go to put that back in the tree, and all this other stuff starts flying out at me, and I'm all,
Oh Lord.
Okay, hold up. I'm like, wait, that's not me. That's something happening. Well, it was this doll trying to get my attention. And the guy looks at me. He's like, are you okay? the owner or the guy that worked there, I think he was the owner. He's like, are you okay over there? And I'm all, yeah, I'm just trying to put these things back in the tree. He's like, yeah. She sees you.
Oh,
like,
shoot.
Yes,
oh my
yes.
gosh.
And I was kind of like, I'm just trying to put these things back in there, but it keeps flying at me. Well, what happened was we go in there every so often, right? So after that Christmas, I told her, I said, I'm here in nothing but love and respect. That whole thing. I'm here to honor you, to praise you, and all the beauty that's in the store. And it was just one of those moments where I was like, holy crap. And it was weird because I told the guy, I'm just going to set this right here because she kept throwing it back out and all these other things started coming out. And so he goes, it's okay, I'll take care of it. And so then I just set him there, and then I went walking the other way. And then this other doll, I mean, just these dolls, it's like there's like sister dolls. They're made by one person or something. I'm not sure.
Oh my gosh.
But I felt like these eyes were staring at me walking through the store. I don't think I ever told you. I don't think I've ever told anybody this story. So Keith and I'm
going there. It's on the south side of the 78.
He's just cruising. Yes, it's right there. Yeah. The beat section. There's tremendous stuff. So Keith and I go. Oh yeah. So Keith and I go every so often. I just went there right during the holidays, and the guy brought out all this other stuff. But every single time I go into that store, Debbie, I go in there and I always ask for the lady because nobody will buy her. Because I at first I was going to buy her, and he's all, because I'm like, yeah. I mean, he was like, he goes, if you can handle her, that kind of thing, because she's like one of those she's a trickster. She's kind of like one of those that needs attention.
I got too many antiques that can
Yeah, so I just kind of thought, you know what, I'm going to admire her from here. And he keeps her in a glass case.
Is it locked up?
Ever since then, he's kept her in a glass case. Yes, and every time I go in there, I ask him, I said, where's my girl at? And he remembers me, and he says to me, he's like, oh, she's over here in this case. And he's like, wait. He's like, no. He goes, she's in that case over there. So something is going on at night where he goes, no, I could have sworn she was in this case, and she's in another case. Okay. And I was oh, yeah. No.
I knew somebody that went into, I think they were in New Mexico or something, and they went into, they would go into this store all the time, and the stuff in it would turn. The statues of the people would turn. Yeah. And then they'd have stuff just slam from the inside, slam and break. All stuff flying. And it was always the one case that had those dolls that would, they'd look later and then they're looking at you, or they're looking at a different way or whatever. So freaky stuff.
Yes.
Something's in there.
What's really weird? Like, she had a beautiful, and I swear. And Nana's like, I swear I could have seen her blink at one time. Like, her eyes.
Oh my gosh.
But she doesn't have eyes. It's like you have a face on a doll, but it's like the eyes just like blink, and then and I'm like, I just like look. But every time I go in there, I show her nothing but respect. I wanted to come by. I'm there to shop. I'm here to support. And it's really weird too, because when I started getting keener, ever since the store was there, I always, whenever I would go in there, I always sent something. But now that I'm much keener in this whole spiritual world thing, I hear drumming when I go in there, and in the corner of my eye, I see people up in the corner, like on the top, and they're just living their lives, and they're just kind of like working as if they were like back in the day, like they're like the lady, she's doing the corn, and it's just like, it's like a village that's in there, but they have so much action at night. I would love to see their video cameras at night. I would love to see it.
Wouldn't that be fun? That stuff is what they need on television. That would be fun. And they do, it's funny about Paranormal Activity, you guys. When they have a show, you better have something besides, watching, waiting for the ghost to fly around, because a lot of times they won't do anything. And it's hard to get them having action. Now, sometimes they will, but then they get all excited. Really, the ball went that far. It went.
Yeah.
And, oh, look at that. Oh, everybody yells because the ball isn't going to fly across. And I really wish my house would have had cameras, because I friggin' have stuff that float. Okay, you can, if something like this flew across my room, you go, oh, that got thrown. Somebody threw it from the other room. But what about floating? Floating, floating in the air, moving, and then going down like this. I'm sorry, guys. That doesn't happen. Every scientist will tell you that can't happen because if it's up here, it goes straight down. And mine was like, hello, they float through the air. And we all go, look at that. I get so excited when I see stuff move, sit there and just move and move and move. It's saying hi. That was a box of crackers, and it's saying hi. And I'm telling my husband, turn around. And he's like, no, he wouldn't move at all. I said, turn around. The box is going like this. It's just waiting. Turn around. And he goes, no. And it went, me, me, me. It wanted to say hi to him. Just like, I'm going to tell you, the remote flew across the room, the whole room, the living room, went down to an angle and stopped on the ground right at his toes. Just stop right there. It was aimed at him. Hello, you don't believe me? I'm going to show you. You're an engineer. This can't happen. I'm going to show you. And he's just like, well, that was weird. I'm like, don't you get it now? No. Because he didn't want, he won't
It's
look.
maddening.
He will not look.
It's maddening.
I know it. Because the other side, he is just so I don't want it. And okay, everybody has a comfort zone. It's uncomfortable for him when this stuff happens. But I wish I had cameras. I'd be a zillionaire on the YouTube, but there'd be some crackpot that somebody would be going, I see fishing line or some crap like that. And there's like nothing. This stuff happens.
Right.
And it's just amazing to me that it is you guys, I'm a retired research librarian, you guys. So first time I manifested, I didn't believe in it. I said, did that lady have too much drink? She had too much to drink. She told me I just tell the universe what I want and it comes. So she's going to drink it. That isn't going to happen. So in desperation one night, I go, what'd she say? I'm going to say it. And then my life changed. My life changed because what I spoke into existence.
Absolutely.
Guys, it was crazy. So, here we go. Kate says, my sister moved into this rental and they had a weird ornament on the fireplace. And every time I go in, she wouldn't look at me. Ornament? What do you mean?
Yeah. What do you mean? I know. I read that. I'm like, what do you mean by ornament?
Was there something painted on it? Or? Yeah, I want to know what that was. Well, again, we have haunted objects. I would say that as much energy that they would really be able to muster, and as long as it's an ordinary everyday thing that got attached to, might be movement, okay, might fly. But I think for me, the stuff that happened in my house actually had the energy of an entity that held the object and took it and wanted us to see that, just like a pot thing.
A pot thing.
Can I say something funny? Kate, are you speaking English?
I know, right? I'm not.
Only because
I'm just kidding.
A different English.
Well, see, sometimes. Okay, so this is another thing too. Is that some people they say, "Oh no, well that's just like these attractions." Like some of these attractions where it shows like it looks like they blink, that kind of thing. Now that's something different where you're like, okay, something's blinking or it's looking, but when it has its eyes painted on like that, but it looks like it blinks, that's something completely different. She's Scottish.
Okay, you're Scottish. I think my last name is Scottish. Duncan. Is that are people in Scotland probably? Maybe they don't like the Duncans. I don't know.
The Dunkin' Donuts that we had yesterday.
I'm actually 10% Irish, so I didn't know that. I didn't know I could be kiss me. I'm Irish for 40 years, 50 years. I didn't know it. I lost out on a lot of kisses.
You could have totally scored.
I could have, maybe. Now
you can get the clearance in all the stores at the M store.
everything Irish now. And
Yeah,
and the funny
everything. I
thing,
would.
my son had a test, and my son is adopted, and one of them are. And so we got the DNA, and he always wanted to know what he was. And he always wanted to be Irish, always. And so we did a film of him taking the test, of us going and putting it into the post office, and then getting the results online. You see our faces when it opens up, and he's Irish. So that was neat.
Wow.
So that was a lot of fun. And he just
Wow.
got a match with a first cousin, and he still doesn't really know who his parents are. So his mother was married to someone from a very famous family that everybody would know. Everybody in the world would know
Yeah.
this person. And so we go, is it that, or is it someone else? So he found a brother, but the brother hasn't had the test, and so we don't know that part of it. But now we have a first cousin, so we're gonna look at that. It's always amazing. Yes, I
Well,
want to be
that's
Scottish though
cool.
too. I wanted red hair. I used to dye my hair red. Every fall I
Ginger.
had red hair. My mother had red hair, but my mother is French and Dutch. So I don't think they have red hair. But who had red hair? My great grandfather has red. He was from Switzerland. So I don't know. It's a past life thing,
Oh,
right?
wow.
We want
Yeah.
something. We're aligned with. There's so many people that are non-native, Native American or whatever, but non-native, and they really go to that. They really like remember and everything. So you got to honor that they probably were in another
Yeah.
time. Kate says
Yeah,
she's 30.
absolutely.
That's a lot. 36% Scottish and Native American. I know that Carla and I are related. Our
Yeah.
families are from the same place in Mexico. And same story, same, everything. Yaqui. And when we found that out, I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And I said, that's where my family's from.
Yeah.
So we do have that. You were born in Scotland. We all love it. We all look at those places, but I meet a lot of clients that have affinities for different time periods, historic time periods, different places. And definitely everybody wants to be from Egypt. That's number one. They all think they
Oh.
were Cleopatra. And I said, not everybody gets to be Cleopatra, guys.
Maybe for Halloween, but not,
Not past lives. She didn't have
Well, yeah.
any people.
Remember remember you were saying like white rice, that you're dealing with white rice, that you're
crazy.
Oriental. Yeah.
I was crazy from Japan. I mean,
Yeah.
I grew up obsessed with eating rice. And as a little girl, would get up on the chair. My mother was a professional cook. She taught me I can make the best rice of anybody. And I'm a little girl and I make the rice. I come home. I'm from America. I'm from Southern California. Everybody comes home and gets a hamburger and potato chips or whatever. I make my pot of rice. And then back then they didn't use chopsticks. Nobody did. Unless you were from someplace and you went to the Chinese restaurant, that's the only place you'd see them. And so, because I'm talking about the beginning of the 1960s, and I would go and picked up chopsticks and just like, okay, eat. Like, and people were like, they stare at you. They stare at you because we don't do that.
Yeah.
But there was this affinity all the time to that. Yet I disliked. My girlfriend lived in Japan. She came back. She had the whole house with everything, and I hated it. I
Yeah.
absolutely hated it, and I couldn't understand that. And it wasn't until I got a past life regression. So, well, I didn't get a regression. A guy came in, and he said, "I do," in my work, he goes, "I do past lives. Would you like it?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah!" And give me your hand. I'm like, "Yes." And then he saw the whole thing and he told me how my whole life, and then I was okay with it. Then I go, okay. And I'm okay now with the decor and all of that. Matter of fact, I bought a big chest, old, really neat chest that when I get to see you more, Carla, you can come to my house and see this big Asian chest that I have. But then it became crystal clear to me. I had a past life. That was true. That was true.
Yeah.
Because nobody acted like me. I was cuckoo. I was
right?
I wouldn't eat anything but the rice. I grew up with it. And since then I don't eat so much rice.
Yeah.
Where I ate it, it was an everyday thing for me. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Wendy says, I love tea and I'm afraid of fireworks.
Well, where's your
Okay, where
recent
do you think
past?
that was? But yeah, a tea made me vomit. That was ever since I was little, I smelled the tea and throw up.
Just
And that was the way I
tea.
was. I could not. And so I remember I had married for the first time, and the drinks were where we were eating, and I picked up his and I took a swig, and it was tea, and I go, "Don't do it, don't throw up, don't throw
Yeah.
up." So it's just weird that I globbed onto obsession with rice, and I couldn't stomach tea, and I hated all things Asian. But once he told the story, then everything was okay. I go, okay, I got it. And I drink
Yeah.
herbal tea, now and then, but I will drink tea.
Yeah.
So past lives are reals. They are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So can we be honorary Scottish? I want to. I have the name.
Right? Yeah.
People will think that I'm Scottish because my name, I'm like, I married it.
Yeah.
I married that one.
Right.
So yeah. I have many names. That's what happens when you get married multiple times. Oh
Yeah.
God, never
So do I.
again. Zero again.
So do I. Mm-hmm.
I want to be like Sherlock Holmes and just have my Dr. Watson. That's it.
I know, right? I know,
There's a
right?
new
That
show,
was
you guys. What is the name? Oh my gosh, you guys, is it the Irresponsibles? Have you guys know that on Netflix? If Carlos was here, he'd know. Let me tell you. It is Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, and the important guy is Dr. Watson. And he finds these, can I say gutter snipes? Finds these young teens and with special talents of stealing stuff and talking people into things and all kinds of stuff. And so they go solve these supernatural horror mysteries. Like there's the bird mask guy and the cloak and the guy that can control the birds, and they pick out the girl's eyes and she's all bloody. They show all that. And I'm not a horror person, but I'm obsessed with this show. And I've watched two or three episodes. So I think it's called, you guys, is it? Anybody know? The Irresponsibles?
sure,
Something like that. I'm not going to go off and Google it, but oh yeah, it's really good. And just there's a psychic girl, and so she can go. The psychic girl can go find out how the people got their power that are killing people in London and stuff, doing things.
Oh, wow.
And I know it's spooky.
I want to see it.
And then there's and you know what I love is that the characters are every ethnicity that you could think of, but they don't address it at all, that they're of color or that Asian or anything. That's not part of it. So you see a family that has everybody blended back then, which wouldn't have been like that. And but they overlook it, and I love that. But nonetheless, there is the psychic girl will see something, but Dr. Watson will come and summon them, and I'll pay you money. They don't like doing it because it's scary stuff. And like the one guy who controlled the ravens, and the ravens came, and they're ravens from another place, and they all came and they chased them down and got them, and big blood everywhere, but they did kill one of the girls, this one girl.
Oh my
And
God.
they show it. I know. I really like it. I think it's called The Irresponsibles, but if you go on Netflix, it's new. It's new and you can see
Wow.
it.
It's
We
brand
always
new.
like those. It's brand new.
Interesting.
I know. So if you like that kind of stuff, but
Yeah, because there's
I
nothing
love that.
on.
What?
There's nothing on.
On
There's nothing good
Netflix?
on. Yeah, no. I mean,
Oh,
just
I found some
TV in
good
general.
stuff. I love you guys. I love the kids magic shows that have to do with magic, and I find them and I go, wow, what is the something of Sulphur Springs? There's one, the magic of Sulphur Springs or something like
Oh,
that. I've watched that, but there's a really cute one of these young girls that are witches. They find out they are grandma and the mom, and so they get to cook magic. And I binge watched that until there was
oh,
nothing left, and then they spread it out to another one, and I didn't care for it. But
oh,
you can find them, and they're just fun. But this one is not kid kid friendly. This is like they show the dead people.
wow.
They
Yeah,
show the guts.
anything good.
The tooth fairy came and was taking all the teeth out of the kid's mouth. And they were burying them in the dirt to grow the clone, and the clone had the teeth.
Oh
Oh
my God.
my God. And the lady
That's
was scary as
crazy.
can be. I know, it's just really good.
That sounds really good. The Irresponsibles. We're gonna
I
have to
think
check it
it
out.
is. But if you go on, it should come
Yeah.
right up. Well, we got to go, guys. We're going to be on tomorrow. Free readings for 1 hour. And Trey, you can bring that question. We can do that. You guys, we will, good night, Kate. We will gladly do a whole hour of free readings for you tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. here on Psychic Fixes. Lady T, for your dream interpretation, comes on in the morning, and then we'll be on with the free readings. And then, my goodness, Friday will be the big day. Wednesday, the witch show with Get Witchy with Zoe Soul. That'll be Wednesday. I gotta remember that's new.
Yes.
And then our Reiki on the 6th with Kathy Milanowski, because she will be doing her first Tuesday. I mean, learn Reiki for free, you guys, for free.
Yeah,
Where else are you
absolutely.
going to get that? Okay. So we guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
You bet.
Right? Thank you so much. We love you.
We love you. Good night.
Bye.